Only pet owners understand the love and impact that these four-legged family members have on us. Unfortunately, their lives always seem to be cut short. That time is filled with heart-wrenching goodbyes and, in many cases, difficult decisions. Our guest has dedicated their life to bringing peace and guidance to pets and their families during their most vulnerable times. I'd like to welcome Dr. Caitlin Reich, veterinarian with Laps of Love. Dr. Caitlin, thank you for joining us today.
You're welcome.
So before we tap into Laps of Love, can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Dr. Kate. I've been a veterinarian for a few years now, more than a few years. A couple years with just Lap of Love. Prior to Lap of Love, I've worked in general practice for the USDA, as well as a shelter veterinarian for many years.
And so how long have you been working with Laps of Love?
For about 2 years now.
Okay, and can you explain a little bit about what Laps of Love is?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are a in-home veterinary euthanasia and hospice care service. So we provide end-of-life care when we go to the patient's homes.
Okay, and now what kind of swayed you into switching from, working in like general medicine to, putting yourself in this position where you're with families during a hard time, but you're, trying to make it as easy as possible? What made you make that transition?
Yeah, so I think because it's such a sensitive time, and veterinarians by nature are the fixers, the helpers, and the empaths, so it's only in our nature to want to provide the most comfort care at the end of a pet's life.
So this experience, it's a mobile, so you actually go into their home, so you're providing the families and the pets, doing this euthanasia at their home. What does the process typically look like?
Yeah, so the first part of the process, it involves us just arriving to their home. I always personally just like to get a little bit of a history on the pet, talk with the families, ask them how long have they had Fluffy for, just kind of, get to know them and their pet a little bit. And then I'll go through the whole entire process, usually step by step, and sometimes during the process I'll also kind of go through the steps too, just because families, they're not hearing in the beginning, and it's just more comforting to kind of walk through the steps.
Yeah, it's a really hard time, and so I'm sure you have people reach out to you that are kind of uncertain of if they want to, put their pet down. Or so, what advice do you have for families that are kind of in that limbo of like uncertainty? Yeah,
so when it's that level of uncertainty, we just kind of go through all of the issues that their pet may be currently having, and sometimes just the simple act of the owner talking everything out, going through quality of life, it kind of makes them realize, like, oh, Fluffy is really having so many bad days, and we just really didn't realize that until now, now that we're speaking with you, and then they kind of come to terms that, maybe euthanasia is, the best, most appropriate and humane decision for them.
And now I will say that Dr. Kate has a very calming nature. So, coming into the home, you're dressed probably as you are, bearing treats, and you're a positive presence. I want you to talk a little bit about like the importance of providing a calming environment for like not only the pets but the families too, to have like those last moments with them in their home. Like, why does that make such a difference?
Yeah, well, it is a very sensitive time, and a lot of people will experience euthanasia in the vet clinic, and it's probably during a very stressful time, stressful event, maybe medical emergency. And if we don't, let our pets get to that point and we can provide this in their home, it just makes it a more comfortable, better experience. Nobody's stressed. The families are not stressed. The pet's not stressed. And a lot of these pets too don't like going to the vet. They don't like getting in the car. And when they have to do that, they're already stressed before they even get to a vet clinic. So.
And now you guys also have services for families after, the passing of the pet. What are some of those services?
Yeah, so we have support groups. We have support groups on our Facebook page, through our website. You can do Zoom calls as well. There's lots of information out there for them.
And where can they go to find
lapoflove.com.
Lapoflove.com. Yep. Wonderful. Well, Dr. Kate, thank you so much for joining us today.
You're very welcome.
Absolutely. We're back in 2 minutes.